Okay, we've got another 50-50 circuit coming up here. So 3 different stations, 50 seconds of 1, 50 of 2, 50 of 3, then right into the next one, 50 of 1, 50 of 2, 50 of 3. So no breaks in between, just whatever transition time. And then after those 6 rounds, so the 2 times through the 3, you get 50 seconds rest, then another circuit of 3 stations. You keep working through. The equipment that you'll want: a bench or a chair or a couch. You'll need your foot up on something for a split squat. You want sliders. And then also a weighted object, probably heavier. We're going to have a bent over row on this. So we'll start shortly. The first 3 are going to be hand walks. So walking forward and backwards with your hands. Second one's going to be a split squat with a pulse at the bottom and then a hop up at the top. And then last one's going to be a side plank position. So side plank, and you're going to be switching back and forth. So I'll go over those. But we'll start about 10 seconds. Hand walks will be the first one.
Nice little warm up here to get us going, guys. Hand walk out overhead. This is not going to be paired with the push-ups, so hand walk out as far as you can or you're able to overhead. Keep the core tight, don't let the hips sag. Nice big stretch. Hand walk back in. When you hand walk back in, keep the legs straight, drive the hips back up into position. Halfway through, 25 seconds out. As you get more and more warmed up here, you might find yourself maybe another ½ inch or another inch out in space, but really reaching out overhead. Take your time, 10 seconds. Three. Little air. Next exercise, it's a Bulgarian split squat pulse plus hop. So a lot of weight on that front foot. Try to use the glute and hamstring as a brake as you get down into the hole. You can sink the arms up as Ben is now for a little bit of help. We'll stay on the one leg for 45 seconds. Excuse me, for 50 seconds. Probably 45 by the time you got going now. And the 5-second rest in the middle, so it's more like 40 seconds. 15 seconds out. Last thing of this 3-piece series, side plank. Switch. I should be able to read my own handwriting. 5. So in a nice tall side plank position, reach under, match the hands, and reach the other one up. Try to keep the hips nice and stable and high on the transition. You could put the ankles together as Ben is now, or separate the feet so you have a little wider base. If your stability is problematic or questionable, you'll likely want to be in that wider foot position. 20 seconds out. 10. And after this, we'll go back to our hand walk. 3. Hand walk out overhead. 'How was your brother after the workout yesterday?
Said it was good.
Good.
Good. You worked out at the highest altitude, so I worked with whatever. Yeah, he's gonna crush this workout today. He's in pretty good shape right now.
20 seconds. You said they've been running a lot too, right?
Yeah.
10 seconds in these hand walks. Back to split squat, pulse hop. Make sure you switch legs on that.
Okay, he's gonna be watching this now. He's not in very good shape at all. This week.
One pulse, guys, and one hop, yes. And then integrate the arms if you'd like. Nice soft landing. And if jumping is not your forte, let's just remove the jump. Just a little pulse. Stand tall, almost like a calf raise. Perhaps the same speed you would have jumped with, but just don't leave the ground. 20 seconds out. 10. 3. Last thing here, we'll go into that plank with a switch. So nice tall side plank, match the form, match the hand, reach out of the body. Feet can be stacked or unstacked. Maybe I should wear my hat today too. I got it on sale, it was like $6. It was supposed to stay out in the cabin, but I brought it home. 15 seconds. I think I told you, but Brooks was running a big clearance on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
5 seconds. Go, rest, 50 seconds off. 5-0. Moving into 3 stations. We're gonna go with a kneeling narrow push-up. So knees on the floor, elbows tight, draw the elbows in. More of a tricep press. Second thing is going to be a static dead bug. Sprawl out, hold tight. And then the third thing with the core exercise, plank with opposite reach, so left and right, right and left. 20 seconds until we do anything. It's good. Oops. 5 seconds.
So you're going to want to go from your knees on this one. If they feel really easy, make sure they're strict, and then you can pick up the tempo a little bit too. But hands are about shoulder width or maybe just inside the shoulders. Elbows stay tight to your body. So keep those arms kind of tucked in towards your lats. And be aware of posture. This one, it's really easy to shrug and to roll the shoulders forward as you get low. Try to keep the shoulders pulled down and back, sticking your chest out towards the floor as you go down. So 12 seconds to go. And then you're going to be in that static dead bug, so you'll roll over onto your back in 5 seconds. 2, 1. So right into the next one, laying back. You can start with your arms and legs more vertical and then let them fall out a little to find what angle is good for you. Low back's push down. The longer your body is, the more challenging it's going to be, but there's going to be a limit. If you start to arch up off the floor with your low back, then you're going too far. Knees can be bent a little bit too. That can make it a little less pull. But 18 seconds to go, try to just breathe while you're keeping everything nice and tight. In 10 seconds, you're going to flip over to a plank position and then reach opposite arm and leg. 3, 2, 1. So on the elbows, on the toes, you'll likely want a wider base with your feet. And spend a little time up at that top position. That's what's going to make this more challenging when you get those 2 points of contact lifted up. A nice straight line from the back of the head, down the back, hips, legs. 20 seconds to go. 12 seconds. And then you're going into those kneeling narrow push-ups. 4, 3, 2, 1. So narrow is in reference more to the elbows than to the hands on this one. It's not all that different of a starting position than your regular push-ups, probably just a little bit tighter. And keeping that belly button pulled up too, so everything moves together up off the floor. as much depth as you can. If you notice you're really losing your posture and losing that shoulder position, just go a little shallower on these. 15 to go. Last 5, then you're going to flip over onto your back for the dead bug. So getting over, and then just keep that consistent breathing. Even though you're not moving through reps on this one, you've got to get a good breath in and out every few seconds.
About it earlier. I haven't done this much core work in 10 years.
I think I'm pretty much right there with you. Yeah, there's a lot of core stuff here, and it's good for us. It's good for everybody. 10 seconds to go, and then you'll be in your last one in this circuit, which is that plank on your forearms and the opposite reach. 5 seconds. Okay, so 50 left. Then we'll take a break. And really keeping those hips in the same level as the rest of your body. It's tempting to stick your butt really high up in the air to make these a little easier. Do the best you can to stay flat. And smooth the weight shift on these. You get that elbow and toe down to the floor, brace everything tight, and then you reach the opposites. 12 seconds to go. Three, 2, 1. And take 50, rest. And we got 3 new stations here. First one's a broad jump, so you're jumping for distance. Land softly, depending on how much space you have, you might just do one, turn around, and then back the other direction. The second one's going to be a fast feet, so real quick here. And then the third one's going to be a pillar push-up. So you're going from plank position up to hands, and then back down to elbows on those. So broad jumps, just make sure you know what your surface, your landing surface is. Make sure you know what's around. Don't slip, don't lose your balance on these. Going 5.
All right, here we go, guys. Maybe make these first couple jumps a little smaller, and then try to build on them as you get warmed up. If you don't have a lot of space for broad jumps, keep them short, work on some height, and work on a really nice, soft, gentle, I was trying to think of another word that would describe the same thing that I was already saying. Just land softly.
Graceful.
Graceful. Thanks, Ben.
Ninja, cat-like.
Yeah, all that stuff. 20 seconds out. When you land, you're probably going to stay out of 90 degrees, so when you get down in that catch base, don't get too deep. Second thing after broad jumps, fast feet. 3, 2, and thought this might be a good combo for you. And for you guys too, of course.
It's all about me, though.
Right now. Today. 30 seconds out. After our fast feet, we're going to go into that pillar push-up, which is from a plank position. We'll go up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down. 20 seconds out. If you're not so good at fast feet, you can do medium feet and or just substitute for something like skaters or some lunges. 5 seconds out. We just have broad jumps, which are leg dominant, and then these kind of speed dominant too. Pillar push-up here. Plank position, up, up, down, down. Try to keep the hips stable. And at some point, you're going to want to switch arms, whether that's the second set of 50 seconds, or every other rep, or every few. Make sure you switch. 30 seconds, and we'll go back to broad jumps. 10. 3, 2. Yeah, good. Back to broad jumps, guys. If you have space for it, search for another inch maybe of distance, 2 inches. Pop out there, nice soft landing. If it's crazy, then let's just be mindful that it is crazy and not do it. Nice soft landing, nice big arms. 30 seconds out. Ben's got a good demo going. He's making sure he doesn't get too high. Doesn't want his head on the ceiling, so, you know, hold him back a little bit.
It's the only thing that's containing me right now.
Literally. You're in a box. 15 seconds out. Couple more broad jumps, and we'll go right into fast feet for our second round. In 5. Coop, fast feet. Sometimes integrating the arms helps here. Sometimes moving the hips side to side helps. Whatever rhythm you can get into. "20 seconds out. We'll do our last thing of this series, which is that pillar push-up. "10. 2. The wider your feet are here, the more stability you'll have through the hips. Try to stay nice and tight. Push, push, drop, drop. Maybe anticipate that load coming, prep for it in the hips. Try to move up as a unit and down as a unit. 20 seconds out. After this, we're going to take a break. 50 seconds of air. 10. 2. Yeah, good. Resting, guys. First thing, in-out squat jumps. I'll kind of pop wide into a squat, come in, tap narrow, pop wide into a squat. Pretty quick tempo there. Second thing, you'll need your sliders. We're gonna go into valve slide crunch to pike. Third thing, you'll need a bench and or table, chair, something for some bench dips. If it was more appropriate for you, go wall triceps instead of bench dips. It'll take some stress off the shoulder and make it a little more manageable. In-out squat jumps first though.
Sort of sitting back into the squat. Getting as deep as you feel comfortable getting on those. And that tap in the middle is nice and quick, real light on the feet. The squat can be just a little slower, a little smoother. You don't have to be really fast on the squatting movement. But the tap is on the toes. When you sit into the squat, you sit back onto the heels a bit more. Get the arms into it as much as you want to. 15 seconds to go. And then you'll have that valve slide, crunch, and pike. So you'll want your sliders nearby in 6 seconds. And then get your toes up on there. 2, 1. So you'll be in a push-up position to start out. Feet on the sliders. A good focused crunch as you're pulling those knees up. Then you can get the hips high, and then a slow eccentric pike on the lowering part. On the crunch, focus on using the abs and actually round the back just a little to get into that crunching movement so you know you're using your abs, not just relying on your hip flexors. And then good control on that pike on the way out. Drag those knees, squeeze in the abs tight, And you only go back to a neutral position, just to a push-up position. Don't try to go past that or don't get lower than that with your hips. 7 seconds to go. After this, you're gonna have the dips off the bench or chair or couch. So get up to there. Palms are on there. Make sure you got a pretty good grip on everything, not slipping off. A little weight in your legs, but the more you put into your legs, the less you're gonna feel in the triceps. The less you put into your legs, the more you'll feel in the triceps. Depth is gonna be dependent on how you feel with your posture and your shoulders. Just be aware of how your neck feels. If you're getting too low, your neck's usually gonna tell you. If you can get to 90, that's awesome. You don't have to try to sink any lower than that, 90 degrees at your elbows. So 15 to go. Exhale every push, driving into the object that you're on. 8 seconds, and then back into those in-out squat jumps. 2, 1. You should be really soft on the landing, really light feet the whole time. Halfway through, 25 seconds. After this one, you'll get back to those sliders for your crunch and pike. Another 10. Two, 1, then down to the floor, toes on the sliders. And the whole time thinking more about using the abs. So instead of just thinking about what your body's doing and the movement itself, think about the muscles that are controlling it and what's going on more internally for this. So crunching up, bracing those abs, and then a slow release back down, trying to keep the hips up, 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 and then you get to that starting position and you start to crunch again. 15 to go. Seven seconds left, then you'll go back up to those dips, and that'll be the last one in this circuit. 2, 1. And you can change up tempo on this depending on how you're feeling. You can go super slow, you can make it a little more eccentric if you want to, or you can just rep out a bunch. 25 seconds. $15 left. You'll get a break after this. Yeah. Last 5. All right, 50 off. We got 2 circuits left. Got high knees, and fast feet. It's good for you.
Oh, but look what it's paired with. Piece of cake.
It's not that easy.
Well, at least with broad jumps, fast feet, high knees.
Yeah. We could change, we can make some changes. First one in this circuit, slow push-ups. So slow on the way down and slow on the way up. Second one is going to be a bent over row. So you want your heavier object.
3 series left.
3 series left.
There's one on the top right.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry about that.
2 more after this one.
And then high knees. Maybe we'll just make it shorter for everybody today.
Yeah, we can do some stretching, that's fine. Let's do it. Slow push-up, guys. It's written as slow. We're gonna go slow both directions. So easy on the down, easy on the up. As I sometimes tell you, if it's too easy, don't rest so long at the top at the end of that rep. So you'll drop slow, press slow. As soon as you finish that press, get right back down into the next push-up. I, and perhaps Ben, might take like a 3-second pause at the top just to kind of, you know, enjoy life a bit.
3 to 20 seconds.
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
but
that.
you guys, if you're feeling strong, drop immediately back down into it. 15 seconds out here, next station, single arm, dumbbell bent over row. Today we are going to use our bench or table, so it is supported. 2, over that single arm row station. Asya! Looks good, that shoulder can hang. That right arm, Ben's right arm, the one that's pressed into the bench, is tight on the bench. So use kind of that scap, use your lat, keep the shoulder kind of fixed. You should be in active position there, not just using it as a base. 20 seconds out. After this, we're gonna go into high knees. 10. 3, 2. One of Ben's favorites. What would you take, high knees or bench dips?
Bench dips are more painful on a small area. High knees are more the whole body. So I don't know. I'd rather do dips. I just take a lot of rest.
What if you couldn't rest? 20 seconds out.
High knees are good.
I'm just trying to get him to admit that it was good, that he's okay here, and it could be worse. It could be single leg high knees. Yeah. Oh yeah. 5. It's like a sprinter start almost. 2. What are we doing? Back to slow push-ups, guys. 3 to 5 down, 3 to 5 up. Limit the time you're on the up in that resting position. Keep the shoulders driven down, lats are tight. Put the brakes on. If you can get chest to floor, fantastic. If you can't, stop a little short. Don't lay on the floor. 25 seconds out. Some of us, including myself, will come down to the floor and take a lot of weight off the hands, kind of as a short rest. When you get down to the floor, do a small touch. Don't unload. 10 seconds out. After this, we're going to switch arms back into the row station. 3, 2, a bent over row. Good view from Ben's other side. A lot of weight in the left arm. That left shoulder stays tight. We can see his lat poking out a little bit today. Oh, Ben, look at that, man. Yeah, it looks good.
I did some pull-ups before just to kind of get the blood flowing from the lats.
Did you?
No.
15 seconds.
If I did, the shirt wouldn't even be fitting.
10. I haven't done those band lat pulls in a long time. These little,
Oh yeah, straight arm one.
yeah. 2. That'll get my lats real excited. High knees, guys. Last thing of this series. We'll have 2 series still after this. Working on really getting the knees up. Don't lean back too much. Keep the core kind of tight. Upright posture. 25 seconds here. $15. 5. Cool. Rest. We're going to need sliders for hamstring runner. Second exercise is going to be a rehab side plank. That's that bottom knee down on the ground, 90 degrees with that top leg lift. Kind of one of those. The first side's not bad. The second side kind of sucks. Third thing we'll use is just again, kneeling fall outs. almost like a wheel roll. So we use a disc for 2 stations and put a little bit of oblique and glute in the middle. 10 seconds out. First thing, hamstring runner.
Oh, I forgot my disc. Oh.
So you land on your back, heels on the sliders. Try to get the heels kind of in the middle of the slider too, so it's not going to fall off. A few options. One, the hardest option, keeping the hips up the whole time, and also crossing your feet the farthest away from your body you can when they cross each other. A little bit easier options, you can have the hips down to the floor, lightly resting, but still keeping most of the weight in your heels. Another option would be just to go slow one at a time. So you bridge up, reach right, then back, then reach left, then back, and you alternate that way. So a few different options, find what works for you, what feels like a good challenge. Just keep staying nice. 6 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and then into that side plank. So side plank from your knee, and then top leg staying straight and lifting up. And it's usually helpful on this not to let that toe point up towards the ceiling, either straight forward or even slightly rotate down towards the floor on that top foot. A little internal rotation, and then you get the glute, the outside of the butt, to work a little bit extra. So keep the hips up. As much range of motion as your hip will allow, but don't force it. You should be able to pause it at the top if you were told to do so. 12 seconds to go. Then you're going to have your hands on the sliders. You're going to be on your knees, and we're doing fallouts. So 5 left. So down on the knees. Start in the crunched position, and then try to hold that crunch as you extend forward and you reach the hands forward. Keeping the belly button pulled away from the floor. Everything should come down at once to the ground. Especially not starting with the face. We want kind of stomach, chest, everything coming down at once, heads pulled back. And then the way back up, just make it a real easy push up from your knees so you don't have to try to pull yourself back up out of the bottom. 18 seconds left. Very good, slow reps. Another 10. And then you're going to be onto your back with your heels on the sliders for those hamstring runners. Good. So again, the options, hardest would be keeping the hips up high and then keeping those legs extended most of the time. Another option would be keeping the hips lightly resting on the floor, a lot of pressure in the heels. And then another option would be just hold the bridge up and then reach one foot out at a time. It's more of a slow movement. So if you are feeling it in your low back, shift to one of those regressions there. 15 left. And then you'll be back to that side plank. Three, 2, 1.
Great.
So down on the knee, hips stay high, both sides are working. Bottom hip's keeping you lifted up. Top hip is working to lift the leg up. $20 seconds to go. Good breath every single rep here. 15, and then you're going to be on your knees with those fallouts. And then your hands will be on the slider. 5. 10. Good, really good control on these. You never want to let that low back arch. You don't want to feel pressure there. If you are, you've got to think, crunch down a little harder, pull those ribs in a little bit harder. 15 seconds to go. You'll get a 50-second break. Seven, 2, 1. So one more circuit before we get into some stretching. We're gonna have some V-ups will be the first one. So you'll be laying on your back, arms and legs coming up together. You could do some single leg ones or double leg ones. Let me back up in case my head's cut off. We're also gonna have a glute bridge march. So drive up and then you're alternating feet. And then the last one is that super person, opposite arm and leg there. So all of them will be down on the floor. It's nice.
First thing, guys, V-ups, as Ben mentioned, you could go single leg or double leg. You can go into a full sit-up position where you're kind of reaching for your shoelaces or socks or ankles, or more of just a nice easy crunch base as Ben is now, where you might end up mid-shin. You can tap the heels on the floor, you can tap the hands on the floor overhead. Just make sure if you do so, you're not letting go of that tension. So you're still tight in the core, still pressing down in the back. If you can't get through a full dead bug, reaching all the way out overhead and legs down, you might not reach as far in this V-up. And then a knee bend position, as Ben is demoing now, where those knees are crimped, is also a good regression. 5 seconds out. The second thing is going to be that glute bridge march, so stay on your back, feet down, hips up, and then pull one, pull the other. Not working on a lot of height in the knees here. It's just a nice simple lift. Maybe 4 to 6 inches off the floor. Keep the hips driven high. Trying to draw a straight line from the shoulders into the hip bones and then the knee. So glutes are very active. Hips are quite high. Very controlled movement. Not a lot of side to side shimmying in the hips. 20 seconds out. After this, we have our super stuff. 15 seconds out. 10. 5. Roll over your stomach. If you're comfortable pulling all fours, you're welcome to. We would likely cue it as opposite arm, opposite leg though. But for those that are very comfortable, you could pull all four same time. It's not so much a low back extension as it is a glute squeeze and a little bit of a shoulder retraction action. If you're feeling it in your back, just regress to a plank. If you're pregnant or other, we'll plank as well. 10 seconds out. 10. Then after this, we're back to our V-ups, so just roll over on your back. 3, 2. Yes. One more time through the same series. And Ben is still going double leg, but as we talked about, single leg is a viable option. If you want a little bit of assistance in that single leg, think about pushing the heel into the floor. So drive the opposite heel down. Gives you a little bit of help to get up. 15 seconds here. We're gonna go from the V-ups into the glute bridge march. 10. 3, 2. Yeah, glute bridge march, and then super stuff, and we're done, aside from some stretching. "30 seconds. If the glute bridge march became challenging, a just normal glute bridge here is fine. Both feet stay on the floor. Drop the hips, press the hips, 10 seconds out. Three. Last thing, super stuff. After this, we'll take a quick, maybe 30 seconds recovery, and we'll get into some stretches. Last little bit here. Last series, the stuff we're on right now isn't horribly hard. It's more fine movements, making sure I'm moving well. 10 seconds out. First stretch is going to be an adductor stretch. 5. Maybe 30 seconds to get there. All right, in 10. It's almost like a vertical butterfly of sorts. So instead of seated on the ground, same position that a butterfly would be, but using the body weight to kind of open up. You can rock a little bit side to side. You can really use those elbows to open the legs up a bit. Feet are somewhat narrow. Call it an adductor stretch, but it's almost groin if you're unfamiliar with it. Let's do another 20 seconds here, and then we're going to go into thread the needle, which is from a quadruped or 6 points of contact position. 10. 5. 4. So toes are down, knees are down, hands are down. From there, we're going to reach one arm under the body and then swing it open. When I say swing it open, we're not swinging quickly. It's not dynamic. It's a nice controlled movement. And allow some movement to happen on that arm that is down. So Ben's right arm is on the ground. That right shoulder has some movement. Hips stay pretty squared up. Rib cage moves around. Eyes can come up toward the ceiling, but only really match the vision with the hand. So if your hand's not to ceiling, don't crank your neck just to get there with your eyes. 20 seconds out. We'll take a 10-second breather, and then we'll go into the other side of the same exercise, same stretch. 10. 5. Little air. We're going to switch sides. Here we go. Reach, draw, take the eyes. $15. 5. 4. Standing quad stretch. 3. Core stays tight here. Glutes are a bit tight as well. Don't lean back too much. 10 seconds. Last thing coming up. Make sure you switch legs. Last stretch. Try to control your breathing, settle your heart rate. "15 seconds. Five. Cool. That's it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Have a good day. Talk to you soon.